Hello, research class. It is week 2.5, and we are well underway of what we're studying this semester. And I'd just like to touch base on the client, the issue, any kind of worries about research itself, and about the discussion boards and kind of where we're going from here. This is one of my weekly little videos. I hope you get something out of it. Okay, so first of all, we have quite a great bit of diversity in this class, and it's really fun to see what everybody is interested in, what different areas you'd like to focus on, but also your experience. And it sounds like most people actually have some interest in learning about research and doing research to better your client care in the future. So one of the things that came up a couple of times in the discussion, the two different discussion boards, was that people aren't necessarily sure how to go about reading research articles and what to look for, how to glean the important information from each article. And we'll be getting into that more with next week's topic, which is the literature review, how to actually conduct research, how to read those articles, how to find the right articles. But you'll also be finding that you know what to look for once you've done it yourself. So at the end of this class, you will be producing a research evaluation plan for your probably fictitious client in a certain concentration of interest in the social work field. That's a certain social issue, and how to research if this client has gotten better. In this case, you will have gone through all the steps for this research, so you'll then know better what to look for in looking at other people's research. But also, this is going to become more apparent with the literature review next week. So once you get to next week, please make sure you go into week 3 materials and go through everything. So I have the book chapter and the publisher's PowerPoint. That's one piece of it. But I also have my own PowerPoint, which is going to cover the literature review. There's a separate one which covers writing skills, or like little tips about academic writing. And then there are 4 articles about literature reviews. Some of them are really just, this is how you would go about it. The main PowerPoint that I've put together is how to conduct a literature review, how to look for research articles, what to look for in them, and also how to do that search. So through Madonna's Library, but also through Google Scholar, how to cite these references, so APA format and so forth. But now let's get back to last week and this week. So you're getting ready for your first paper, which is your client paper. It's not worth very much. It's only 5% of your total grade, and it can be changed. So you're not locked into this client. This is kind of your first stab at who might interest you so that you could format this whole research project, evaluation plan, treatment plan, but from the research side for a client. This client can be real, can be fictitious, can be past, can be present, can be future. It can actually combine all 3 of those. In fact, I think sometimes when a student chooses a real client, they get stuck too steadfast on what that real client experienced. So I think best might be to choose a client that you had, so that it sparks the idea of what the issue is, but then veer off and really make up the rest of this client's progress, so that you're not stuck to, well, I don't know what happened with that client, I lost touch, or whatever. So a combination of real and fictitious, I think, actually will work the best. So the important thing is to focus on your area of concentration for social work. So exactly what is that? Are you a school social worker? Are you a mental health specialist? Are you focusing on housing? I saw somebody is working on trafficking. We have addiction, unemployment, employment, alcoholism, special education, homelessness, anxiety, health, mental health, domestic violence, the disability services, the deaf community, ADHD, PTSD. We pretty much run the gamut in this class of all the interests that there's more to the list, but that's a pretty good list. So it's also going to be fascinating to read about each other's research and client examples. And every time I give an example, I'm going to try and veer into a different area of social work so that you just have a wide range of examples to go with. So this week in my PowerPoint on the logic model, I give an example about a client of mine, and this was a real client of mine when I was a school social worker. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the issue. Well, the issue doesn't mean the exact issue that client walked in the door to see you about. The issue needs to be a larger social issue that a lot of people would experience. So the issue isn't necessarily getting trouble in school or not doing well in school or something like that. It's going to be a bigger thing. So for example, ADHD is something that many professionals have researched and have put out studies to show what works with this particular issue. So a larger social issue is what you need to be trying to choose. And starting with the client, moving into the social issue is the way that we've organized this course, but you could kind of do it the other way around if you would like. So think about that. What's the larger social issue that you would like to explore? And then what is a client that is an example of that we could also track progress once we have some kind of treatment intervention that we are then evaluating. Is it working, right? So I would like to make sure that everybody feels comfortable with where they stand right now. Please send me questions if you're a little stuck on what client should I use, if you're stuck on what issue it is. You really can even change both of these things. But once you get really into the literature review, you're going to want to stick with that issue because it's a lot of work. Okay, so make sure that you read everything that I've posted and then comment with your classmates. Now, another note about the discussion boards is when you're answering a classmate, please put their name first so it's easy for me to tell and for everybody to tell exactly what you're answering. If you'd like, you could include a voice recording or a video like this instead of typing it out. Whatever you'd prefer and whatever your technology strategies are, that's okay. We can certainly read them all out. Also, just of note, in the week 3 folder, I do have these notes about writing. That's not just about literature reviews. It's just kind of some grammatical points and tidbits so that you can make sure that your writing is professional. I've really enjoyed all your posts so far. Keep up the good work.